Okay. You mentioned that there are some 500 farmers. I guess that's an estimation because they're not registered at the moment.
Yes.
So how does the department intend to go about the process of having these farmers registered?
Now, let me explain to all the process involved in registering. Okay? Now, what we're doing now, maybe for the next couple of days, for the rest of this month, we want to sensitize the general population as to what is involved in farmer registration. And then in the month of June and July, we will have the actual registration taking place. And what we envisage is that the farmer would come to the Department of Agriculture in Lagreed. They would come to the conference room, our conference room. A lot of the farmers are very familiar with the conference room, and if not, they could be guided and directed to it. So you will come to the conference room and you will meet some staff there. We're saying that during the months of June and July, we'll have what I consider as dedicated registration. A farmer can come between the normal working hours, let's say between the hours of 9 in the morning up to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And any time during that period, that farmer would be allowed to register. Thereafter, you may have to register sort of like by appointment. In other words, when you come to the department, it may be possible for us to deal with that case, or maybe someone may have been assigned to something else. And that is why we're going to be encouraging people to come in during the time stipulated so that they know that there's someone there. Once you get to the department, you're asked to complete a registration form. Some very, very basic information, which first, there's personal information, and then there's, I would say, enterprise information. The form, it can be completed orally. In other words, if for any reason the farmer is not up to writing the information, for whatever reason, hands may be sick or what have you, or he's just not up to it, then the person in the office will take the information and have it inputted on it's a paper on the sheet. So you come, you give personal information, name, basic stuff, where you live, where you farm, your address, telephone numbers and emails are very useful nowadays. It's an electronic age, and we want to collect information that we can reach you, you can reach us. So you give that information. You also give enterprise information, meaning where your farm is, what you're involved in. Are you a crop farmer? Are you a livestock farmer? Are you part-time? Are you full-time? What's the size of your farm? What arrangements you have with if there's a landlord? Are you renting? Are you leasing? Are you squatting? Stuff that people have off the top of their head. General information. And then once we capture that information, then we move on to taking a picture, because it's a picture ID. It must be current. And basically that is the first step of the registration. What happens after that is that staff at the department will go through the application. We ask that your card should be ready usually within a week.
Okay.
So we ask that the following week you can either call the department or you can come to the department. One needs to understand that the card that the farmer ID card that you're receiving, it's a card valid for 3 years. However, we also have a farmer registration fee, which is also expected to be paid. So you'll come the following week, pay the registration fee, and collect the card, so that now you'll have your own farmer's ID card. And towards the end of that registration period, we expect that all the farmers would have registered, and so that now each farmer will have their own farmer registration card. Basically, I think that is the process that is envisaged.
Okay. The department has undertaken a similar process in the past. From that process, do you foresee any challenges this time?
life does involve its challenges, and I don't know, but we do hope, and we expect that we'll have minimal to perhaps even zero challenges. And I do not think that is all that far-fetched. I believe that a lot of the persons who we are registering now have been farmers for a while, and so they are familiar with what took place before. And I believe that by comparison, that they would recognize that they are in an advantageous position. They're well taken care of, and usually people respond positively to positive things. And I am confident that Kittitians are no less. Yes, we said in the past, folks were asked to pay for their registration, and basically it was more like paying for the land which they occupied. And in the old system, if you were a crop farmer, you were asked to pay rent of $300 each year for each acre of land that you cultivated. And I should say to you that while it is true that a lot of farmers, perhaps the average farmer, have 5 acres, so that it makes it about $1,500. There are lots of farmers, there are several farmers who have 20 acres and more. Some farmers have even like 50 acres of land. There are some farms that could be relatively large in the St. Kitts context. So some people were facing as much as, in fact, let me say some of these even cattle farmers. Each cattle, by the way, requires at least 1 acre of land for itself if you're going to feed that cattle properly for a year. So if you have 80 cattle, you need 80 acres under our system, free grazing on natural grass and so on. So some farmers were facing pretty significant costs for rent. Now, what we've done now is that we come up with a new system which is, I don't want to say, I mean, it's so cheap. It's phenomenally cheap by comparison. And therefore, that is why I expect very high compliance. For example, in the old system, we made a distinction between persons who had crops and persons who had livestock. Because the crop farmer paid $300 per acre per year, the livestock farmer paid $100 per acre per year. In the new tier that we are proposing, whether you're in crop or livestock, it doesn't matter. All we're saying is that if you have a very small, modest enterprise, like 5 acres or less, we're asking for a total of $150 for the year for the entire 5 acres or less. Just $150. That's all. We're not requiring anything more. And then those persons who up 5 and above and reaching up to, say, like 20 acres, then we ask that you pay $300 each year. $300. We know that is very modest, and anybody who is doing meaningful agriculture, be it crops, be it livestock, we don't expect that they will have any difficulty in finding a mere and nominal $300 in 365 days. It's less than collecting $1 per day. And then the ones I mentioned first, those with the very larger farms, 20 acres and above, then we ask that the annual rent would be $500. So it's a maximum of $500 and $150 for 5 acres or less, $300 for those going up to 20 acres. Above 20 acres, $500. I would like to point out one other thing though, because the new tier is not just about land. Basically, we want to capture all of our farmers. And I'll say to you, Ms. MacPhail, there are some farmers who are landless for 2 reasons. One, if you're squatting, if you're renting from somebody else, that's not your land. And secondly, a lot of livestock farmers, especially people with sheep and goat, well, some of them don't have a place of their own. One, because some of them find it more convenient to move around the animal from day to day, and some of them have difficulty accessing land. So persons who are on private lands or who don't have land of their own, we're asking that they pay $100. Obviously, this is not for the land. This is for the services that farmers are going to continue to receive from government. So this is the price structure, and I believe that the farmers are excited. I believe that they're jumping. I believe that they're happy, because I'll say more, that under the old system, many farmers had actually run up a lot of arrears, and I don't believe that surprises us. But fortunate for them, through the good graces of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Eugene Hamilton, he decided that, listen, whatever is your arrears, it can be large, it can be small, your arrears are forgiven. Right? We're not going to seek to collect that money that you owe. And some farmers owed thousands, right? But that was forgiven, and so we're starting afresh, and monies become June payable at the end of June, July, and there's no arrears. We're hoping that farmers will take the opportunity to have a fresh start, a new beginning, and let's move forward with a more business-like approach.